Hi, it's Rebecca. I'd like to do a quick video on my month of 30 inks 30 days for November of 2022, just a wrap up. So I did my own 30 inks 30 days pulling from inks that I have had in my stash, but that I haven't used in the last 2 and a bit years since I started keeping records on a spreadsheet. So these are, and in my ink records book actually as well. So these are the inks that I pulled from my stash, and you'll notice that they're all very saturated, very rich colors. And if you pay attention to my currently inked videos, you'll have noticed that I tend to use less saturated shading inks now. So this is why I haven't used these inks in 2 years, is the fact that these are no longer inks that interest me because they're so saturated, and I no longer really use saturated inks. So that's why I haven't used them in 2 years. So we started out with Robert Oster Sublime, which I must not have cleaned out of my pen well enough because I was using my Serendipity, and some ink must have stayed in the feed or under the nib and ended up, what is the word I'm looking for? Well, it had an influence. It changed the color of Robert Oster Claret to a brown. So I think that's the influence of the green, because Robert Oster Claret is not brown. It is this color. Then we moved on to Blue Water Ice, which is a beautiful blue. It's just too saturated for me. Jade, and that was it for the Robert Osters. Moved on to the Blackstones. Some of these are scented inks. Blackstone Brown, Baronia, and Wild Orange. Australian Bush, Blue Cypress, and Blue Gum are all scented and smell lovely. My favorite is the Brown Baronia, followed by the Blue Cypress. I like the Australian Bush, but the Blue Cypress is just so pretty. Then I had Blackstone, Sydney Harbour Blue, and Uluru Red. Then into some diamines with one color verse in the middle. Diamine Bow Blue, I like this one. This is very light. This is much more my style. It shades well. I'll probably use this again shortly. Diamine Mediterranean Blue, color verse Antimatter, which is a really nice, slightly violety gray. Very nice. Shades beautifully. Diamine Meadow, Ancient Copper, Wild Strawberry, Coral, which is very bright, Espresso, and Dark Forest. These two I really enjoyed a lot, the Espresso and the Dark Forest. I'm just going to push this up a bit so we get the bottom row in. There we go. Then into some of the shimmer inks. I've got Spearmint Diva, Moon Dust, Blue Pearl, and Caramel Sparkle. All of these have either gold or silver shimmer in them. Let's see if we can capture that. I'm getting the sheen on this one, but I don't know if I'm capturing the shimmer. Oh well, I tried. Colorverse Hubble Zoom, which is a nice brown with a hint of aubergine in it. Califolio Blue Mediterranean, or Mediterranean Blue is the anglicized or English version. Roaring Klingner Alt Goldgrun, Roaring Klingner Cassia, Diatramentus Plum, which is another scented one and has that gorgeous sheen, and Platinum Classic Lavender Black. Now, one of the things I did notice is that Colorverse Hubble Zoom had changed color. So I'm just bringing in my ink records book. I need to find Colorverse Hubble Zoom. Hubble Zoom by Colorverse is page 90. Look at the change in color. This is another one that has changed color. It went from claret, the same color as Robert Oster Claret, to a darker brown color. So yeah, I would say this ink has definitely changed color. It was a deep red violet. It is now brown with just the slightest hint of aubergine in it. So that's another color change. If you leave your inks for a couple of years, even in a box, protected from the sun, they will change colors. Some of them will change colors. So some inks are unstable. So this is the entry I did showing that I used the James Finnis Serendipity pen with a fine nib for 30 inks, 30 days. And then that day I wrote in my journal and in my Some Lines a Day journal with the ink. So it was a fun month, a very bright month, very rich month. And if you have any questions about any of these colors, feel free to leave a comment. Yeah, thanks for spending some time with me. Bye-bye.